Hey there, everybody. Cindy Daychuk here with Queen Bee Creations. Thanks for joining me today. I thrifted these. So a series of 3 metal trees, obviously painted out with the nativity scene. I'm not keeping those pictures. Okay, just because they're not great. And these are all worn and tired and chipping. So I definitely want to zhuzh them up. What I do want to do is I want to start with a nice clean white on top. So I'm going to use Casement by Fusion, and I am going to repaint the gold. I'd like it to look a little less brassy. And because I have it open, I'm going to use Deco Art Metallics Gold. So you can see much softer gold color. So I'm just gonna get these painted up before we reconvene because I can't do anything till the paint's dry. Now, these look so much better. It's a nice gold with this, isn't it? With the white. So they all look clean and refreshed. And here's my dilemma now. I had plans. So when I got these, I had originally thought I would take air dry clay and I would take a bunch of molds and I would mold them. I'm gonna age them and it would look nice. And it is certainly one option when you have things like this. You can add a bunch of texture. But I don't feel like it. I'm looking at them kind of going, okay, but I don't know, for whatever reason, I just can't bring myself to do it. So what I did decide is that I have tons of Christmas transfers, because usually what happens is when the Christmas transfers come out from IOD, they're limited edition, which means I do a couple of projects with one, then I do a couple of projects with another, and I never get a chance to use the whole transfer. And then I go back, it's hard to go and pull out the ones from previous years when you guys can't buy them. And so now I've decided I'm just pulling from all of them. And I pulled pieces that I thought would work, and I'm gonna fit transfers onto these. I'm gonna be mixing and matching from all kinds of different sets. And what I thought is that I might set it up that we've got a version, I don't know, like a tree and a tree and I'm just seeing if I had a smaller tree in here somewhere. I had a bunch of pieces. But I'm like, okay, maybe, oh, I know, because you're for the middle one. Okay, I did have trees. I didn't have a big enough tree. I'm doing a wreath. Whew, close call. Plans out the window at the drop of a hat there. Which way do I like the wreath? No, that's not right. This way. So what I thought is that I would do a version on each side that the 3 work together, and then on the reverse side, the 3 work together. Now you could mix and match them, I guess. Because I used Fusion paint, these transfers are going to stick to this really easily. But what I'm thinking is, you know, I'm going to get the transfers on, and then I'll see about doing some other little zhuzhing to this. And I got to tell you, they would have looked great with the molds. It would have been a heck of a lot of molds. And I think that's where my hesitation was, because I was looking at doing these as 3 for the amount of molds that I would have been putting on these. And I would have been using clay as opposed to resin, because my resin dries hard and I'm not gonna be able to curve them. These would have been really expensive as a threesome for a customer purchase, in which case I really think that I would have ended up doing it as a video for you guys, but I would never have been able to sell them because they just would have been too much definitely more than maybe my customers want to spend on 3 of these. I got all 3 of them with my discount for $12. So I had $12 invested and the paint. And then if I'd done all those molds, and with the clay, the amount of clay, it would have taken a lot of clay. And then time, I'm like, okay, hard to get my money back. And that's sometimes where my hesitation is on some of these things, is what I need to do for the store versus maybe what you'd be more interested in seeing. But you know what? In this instance, the store won out. And I could have done them not as a set and done individual treatments to show you some options. But I really like them as a set. So I had dilemmas for this. So you can see how quickly and easily this transfer is going on. Awesome. And again, just burnishing it in afterward, making sure that it goes in. See, look how lovely. I think what it was is that once I saw them in their white and goldness, I just kind of started to dig the simplicity of them more than anything else. And I think that I started to hesitate to put more on because I just kind of like the simple lines. So I am actually going to put all the transfers on, get those all applied, and then we'll see what else they need. I'm thinking maybe like this. Then we'll see what else they need, if anything. So I have these, in essence, done. Now, here's the thing. Could you put transfers up the sides? Yes, but I'm actually really enjoying the white space. In this case, literal white space. But I'm really enjoying the simplicity of this. So on each of them, I have like a tree or a wreath on one side. On the other side, I have a figurine. I did a little bit of something at the top. That's about it. Just to give you an idea of my thinking process, I had debated taking some of my gold and rubbing it up and around and adding way more gold to it. I had debated going back and adding a bit of a mold up on top, doing it, painting it out in the white, and then dry brushing gold over the top of that. So I have considered a bunch of other things, but again, I'm just left with, I think they would be too busy. And given that this is a grouping of 3, I just didn't want it to be too much. I just liked the lightness and of it all. You know, you could hate it, you do you. So here's the only thing that I decided that I did want to do. I have a little makeup applicator. I get these from the dollar store. I am dipping it into the gold we used and I'm rubbing it off. I'm kind of saturating my sponge, but I don't want globs of it on my sponge. So it's the same gold that we painted the base in. And what I'm doing, I can't talk and do this at the same time. I'm just rubbing it over that raised bottom edge. Can you see that little bit of gold? So I'm just doing that along the bottom, and I'm probably doing a couple of passes so that I build up a little bit of the gold color and that I'm able to work it so that it coats toward the front of that ridge a little bit more, and it just, none, and a little bit of gold. It just dresses it up a little bit more. And I think I'm happy with just that little bit of a touch of gold. I had debated doing dots and doing filigree out, taking like a thin gold paint marker, acrylic paint marker, and doing little curlicues out and around. Again, fancying it up. And then I stopped myself. So in this instance, I am following the adage of less is more. And I'm just going to add this border on and call it quits. But I do have another small tree project that I wanted to do that I decided to add into this video just because I hadn't done anything super fancy dancy. I mean, I'm loving these, but it's not fancy dancy. The next one's not particularly fancy dancy either, but it's a cool one. So hang on, let me get my trim done and drying, and then we'll move on to the next project. All right, for this next one, here's what we've got. This is actually a craft idea that my sister Carrie passed along. So she is a fabulous source of ideas and materials. She's the one that's given me all the scarves that I did to make the scarf chicken. If you saw me do that, she dropped off all of the felted sweater pieces for being able to make some of those Christmas ornaments, you know, the trees and things that we just did, and that was her idea as well. So she is a fabulous source. She and her friends get together. She pulls together different craft ideas and has her friends come up to her cottage, and they have like a craft weekend, or they have a craft activity. And so I think it runs in the family. My older sister is an awesome quilter. My brother does awesome woodwork, and you know, maybe that's what comes of having an art teacher for a mother. So what we've got this wooden tree cutout shape from the dollar store, and we have these faux tin tiles, really faux tin tiles from the dollar store. And I am going to attach it, I'm not sure how sticky the sticky is, to the tree. And I'm just not pulling it all the way back because I don't want to go as wide as the tree, but I want the pattern to be up and down. So I'm kind of doing most of it. All right, I will reattach the plastic. There we go. So I'm sticking that on one side, and then I am gonna go with my X-Acto knife and cut around the edges of it. You could use scissors if you've got scissors. I just think it'll be easier with my X-Acto knife. I'm gonna cut through the plastic just so that it stays on all these little pieces, which I will keep because I could use it for something else. But I'm gonna get that all cut out. I'm doing two just because. And maybe I'll do them two different finishes. Well, there's an idea. So two different looks. So anyway, stick it on, cut it out. Okay, as I go to get these painted, I'm gonna paint one in Bayberry Green by Fusion and one in Casement, which is a white by Fusion. I want to attach the bases. So what I have are just the big tumbling tower blocks from the dollar store. And I am just going to simply sandwich the trunk of the tree between two of the blocks. And I'm just going to use some hot glue to glue them together. And then I'm going to paint the whole thing front and back and put that off to the side to dry before we can move forward. But that's more than enough to be able to hold the tree. And it's kind of almost perfect, the width of that trunk. So works out nice. I have both of my trees painted, but they look a little flat. So what we're gonna do is zhuzh them up a little bit. And I'm really looking at this being a very quick kind of craft. So I'm not looking at it wanting to be, you know, spending hours on it. But what I have is brushed steel metallic from Fusion. And I'm just gonna be working off of the little bit that's on the lid. And I am going to brush it off. I want a dry brush, and you can see this is a really raggedy, ratty brush. Perfect. And I'm just going to drag it across my green. And I'd rather go light and build up my color than start too heavy and lose it. Really with this, I mean, gold looks awesome on this color, but I'm going to use gold on the other one. So I wanted to show you something different here. Let me do some against the, but you can see how now that design starts to pop. And you have the ability now to kind of go along the edging, adding in a little bit more color, a little bit more highlights, all along there, as much as you want. So that's that one. This one, I want to do the same kind of thing, but instead of doing it with paint, I'm just looking for another ratty brush that's, oh, let me do this one. Because, see, really old ratty chip brush. Don't get rid of those. They are like gold. I'm going to use Golden Rule by DIY, if I can even get into any of it. Let me, here, there's a little stick. I'm just going to take some, put it out on my paper here, and I'm going to dip into it just the same as I did that paint. And I'm going to drag that and do some dry brushing over top of that. And look at the difference. Look at how that pops, that color pops. And it just brings out the pattern of this. And instead of using the paint, we're using the wax. And both give you a very similar result. So first up, we have this tree set. Now, do you guys remember how, this way, how kind of crummy these were to begin with? They were kind of that burgundy color, a deep kind of chipped off gold. It had those hand painted nativities that were really worn and tired. They look so clean, so fresh now. We did them both ways. So kind of trees and wreaths on this side, and then figures on this side. And again, like you could mix and match it however it works, but I just thought, oh, I might as well do designs on both sides. I had debated doing molds on them. I debated doing a lot more fancy stuff after they were done. I love the simplicity of them. So sometimes enough is enough. Sometimes you don't have to go super crazy. I had thought, oh, maybe I should put something on the top, and I don't think so. I think that they are just super cute as they are, and they work together well. I love the variation in heights of these, right? So awesome. Now, the other thing that we did as kind of a bit of a bonus was a dollar store craft. So we took the wooden dollar store trees, we built a little platform for them, and we added just that textural faux tin piece. I just added a little bit of greenery and on the top, silver bell, oops, gold bell, silver bell. And just with a little bit of the color and the gold, the silver on this one, just to highlight the texture that was on that plate. Just a quick, super cute little table topper that adds kind of a textural element and just super cute and super quick. So if you're looking for something fast to be able to do, this is a great one. Just remember that the sticky backing doesn't work once you cut it apart. Who knew until you cut it apart? I wouldn't. So let me know what you think of these ones. Definitely, again, was this something that you would have picked up at the thrift store when you first saw it? Because they're pretty awesome now. Looking forward to seeing you on the next one. And until then, take care.